What I'm going to share with you in this video here are 10 non-negotiable rules that every clothing brand must follow. These are things that if you don't have them in place on your website, it has the potential to completely ruin your brand and hurt your ability to make sales. I'm going to lay these out in the form of a checklist. So as I'm sharing all 10 of these rules with you, ask yourself if you have these in place on your website. And this is an opportunity for you to massively improve your website, massively improve the conversion rate for your clothing brand on your clothing brand's website. I really hope you enjoy. Here it is. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at BrandCrowd. BrandCrowd's a logo maker tool. You type in the name of the logo that you want to have made, hit enter, thousands of logos will come up. You choose the logo that you like, then you can edit and refine that logo as long as you want for free until it's perfect. This is a Hundo P design I made for my own clothing brand using BrandCrowd. If you're interested, head over to brandcrowd.com/apparel success and you can get up to 66% off at checkout. All right, so let's get into the 10 rules for every clothing brand's website. And how do I know these? It's because I've been doing this for the past 7 years trying to build my own clothing brand. I've worked with thousands of other brands, and I know that these are the most important things on your website. The first 3 that I'm gonna share with you are technical design tips that you absolutely have to take notes on and follow because they're super key, and then we're gonna get into some more abstract things and some more psychology. So the first rule for your clothing brand's website is only use 2 font typefaces, 3 max. What I mean by this is on your website, there's different types of fonts that you can use. Don't get carried away using like 6 or 7 different styles of fonts. Stick to using 2 different typefaces, 3 maximum on your website. The reason for this is because if you get crazy with all these different typefaces, it really hurts your brand's perception, it hurts the consistency, it hurts the feeling that you get from the brand. And when you're just using those 2 typefaces consistently, it really helps build that brand energy and that vibe that you're getting from the brand consistently. So only use 2 typefaces, 3 maximum. The second rule for your website is 2 font sizes, 3 max. The reason for this is because if you have 15 different size fonts, it looks like a little kid drew up your website in a coloring book. Okay, it just looks a little amateur. And when there's only 2 font sizes or 3 maximum, it really gives your brand a sharp, professional, legitimate look. So go through your website and look at the different sizes of fonts that you're using. Are they all over the place, or is everything consistent and is everything looking really streamlined and professional? The third rule for your clothing brand's website, 2 colors, 3 max. And I don't mean in the pictures that you're using or any page where you're really showcasing people in it. I mean your brand's colors on your website. You should have 2 main colors for your brand and maybe 3 if there's like an accent color. But don't be using like 10 different colors on your website and expect to have a really consistent vibe throughout. Like on my clothing brand's website, it's literally a red, black, and white. Those are the main colors that we use on our website, and it helps keep the brand consistent. And those are the main colors that we use basically everywhere. I mean, even in this t-shirt that I've designed, this hoodie that I've designed here, it's red, black, and white. And that's because in Canada, it's red, black, and white. And having that consistency on your website as your main colors is really gonna help people recognize your brand, get the same vibe from your brand, and really understand your brand better. The fourth rule for your clothing brand's website is clarity before beauty. Focus on the clarity of your brand's message and getting that across before you start doing any wild design on your website. What you want is people to come to your website and have zero confusion as to what your brand is about and who it's for. And if you do a good job with that, that will be way more powerful than if you just have flashy, cool pictures and cool designs on your website. So focus on the clarity of your brand's message, the clarity of getting your brand concept across to your audience and to your website viewers, and then you can focus on spicing it up after in terms of adding beauty, in terms of adding aesthetic, but focus on that clarity first. The fifth rule for your clothing brand's website is it needs to have an intuitive design. The best way that I like to think about this is your website for your clothing brand is the equivalent now in 2023 as a brick and mortar clothing store used to be. the actual store that people would walk into and the layout of that store, it's just as important to have a really good layout for your clothing brand's website. People need to know where the t-shirts are, where are the jeans, where are the hoodies. If everything's thrown around everywhere and it just doesn't look very professional and people don't know where the checkout stand is, they're just going to get fed up and leave. So you really need to make sure that, adding to cart is easy. The checkout process is easy. All of it is intuitive, and there's none of this stuff that just throws people off where they go, I don't even know how to check out on this clothing brand's website, and they leave. So make sure that it has a really intuitive design. The sixth rule for your clothing brand's website is mobile is more important than desktop. Your website needs to be extremely mobile friendly, because 98% of the people who are shopping on your website are mostly going to be coming from things like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and most people consume those things on their phone. So when they're showing up at your website and they're following the link in your TikTok bio, they're going to end up at your website on their phone, not on your computer. And most people spend 80% of their time working on the desktop version of their website and only 20% of the time working on the mobile site. And it's like an afterthought, the mobile site. Oh, I guess I need to put the mobile site together. But that should be reversed. The mobile site is actually what's most important, and the desktop website isn't as important as the mobile, but obviously they both need to be amazing. So really put a lot of time and focus into the design of the mobile website for your clothing brand. The seventh rule is that you need to have high quality product images. Why do you need to have very high quality product images? Well, because when people are shopping for clothing in the real world, they're actually able to feel the texture of the clothing. They're actually able to try it on in a fitting room, and they get the full experience of the clothing. On your website, all that they have to go off of is how good the images look on your website. So the product mock-ups that you make are going to be the best representation that they have of how that product's going to come in the mail when you actually ship that order to them. So it's really important that you put a lot of work into designing the product mock-ups that are going on your website. The pictures that you're showcasing, that's going to be the perception that they get of your clothing that you're selling. And so dial that in and your conversions will go way up. The eighth rule is that you need to have detailed product descriptions for every product on your website. This means including all of the specs, like is it 100% cotton or 80% cotton, 20% polyester? What's it made out of? How soft is it? What kind of features does it have? And then on top of that, I suggest writing like a short paragraph that is kind of more of a sexy description of what the product is. That's more so just sort of selling them on when would they want to wear this? Why would they want to wear it? And just sort of make that product feel superior, make that product sort of have an impression, and you can do that through writing a more sexy paragraph. But it's really important because that extra layer of an impression that you're giving on the product when they read your product description and you put all of that work into it is going to go a long way in terms of converting them into buyers. The ninth rule for your clothing brand's website is to inject as much social proof as humanly possible into your brand's website. What do I mean by this? I mean that when people come to your website, you need to establish credibility. And the best way to do this is through establishing it through social proof. And there's multiple ways that you can do this. You can do this through either showcasing pictures of customers that you've received wearing your clothing on an Our Story page or on an About Us page, which is what we do. If you go to the Our Story page on our website, there's all these pictures in the background of people over the years wearing our brand. We also have an Our Buds page, which is all of the influencers and celebrities who have worn our brand over the past, 4 or 5 years. And you can see all of that, and it really helps boost the credibility. You can also have reviews that people have written, or you can get creative with it, but just inject as much social proof as possible into your website, because that's really going to build up credibility. It's going to affect the perception of your brand, and it's going to lead to more sales. 10th rule for your clothing brand's website is that you need to have a returns and exchange policy, and you also need to have a way of people accessing your customer support. And you don't have to do this through a fill out form. You can just have the email to customer support at the bottom, but you have to have those things on your website. So each of these rules are really important for you to put in place. I hope that there were a few of these or some of these that made you rethink your own website for your clothing brand. I promise you that it'll help you like crazy when it comes to increasing your conversion rate. I spent a full month recording a 100% free clothing brand course for anybody starting up a clothing brand right now. All you have to do to get access is go to freeclothingcourse.com, and you can go through it at your own pace. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.